The waiver wire has already ran your league for the week, and you're still looking at the waivers, looking for a running back to stash for the rest of the season. Maybe you're in a deeper league. Maybe you need somebody to stash because you got a hole in your lineup or on your roster, and you want that upside running back. A running back that just steps in to a bigger role that could just go off. Kind of like a Keaton Mitchell. And the running back we're going to talk about today has some Keaton Mitchell in his game to where if he gets some opportunity to go off, could do similar things. We're talking about Ty Chandler, running back of the Minnesota Vikings. As you know, Cam Akers is out for the season with Achilles injury. That's going to bump him back up to the RB2 role. Before Cam Akers got traded there, everybody was looking at Ty Chandler as a stash running back. Now we're back to that. We're looking at Ty Chandler. So we're going to look at the news, the facts, the data today to see whether or not you need him for fantasy football. But what you need to do right now is click that subscribe button. Tap it with your finger on your phone. Click it with the mouse on the computer. Whatever you need to do to get the job done. Because we're covering the waiver wire every single day to help you find those stashes, to help you set those lineups and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. Let's look at Ty Chandler here. Cam Akers is going to injured reserve. He's already there. He's torn his Achilles. This might be a career ender since he's already had that injury once before. We'll have to wait and see. But now it's time to look at Ty Chandler as he's going to be the next man up here. And he has not done much this season. Hasn't had much opportunity because he had two running backs in front of him. But prior to the Cam Akers trade, a lot of people were looking at him because of his speed, his gusto. They like him a lot. They've been talking about him a lot in training camp this year and last year. And he's a running back we've been paying attention to all year, waiting for him to get his opportunity. We're about there. Not yet, but we're about there. So looking at his stats throughout his career, there's not much. We had his rookie season last year, which wasn't much. And then we have this season, still not that much because we had some hosses in front of him. We got Alexander Madison, we got Cam Akers, and then it was him. So the opportunities haven't been grand yet for him. But again, a late round running back with some upside and some juice. Looking at his collegiate career, I will say this, more of a Van Wilder running back than a stud running back. But still, when you watch his tape from college, you'll notice some things. You'll notice the juice. You'll notice he runs laterally very well. Played for Tennessee. If you remember Tennessee back in this timeline from 2017 to 2020, it wasn't the greatest years for them. They had some shuffling there. They also had Eric Gray there who had to transfer out as well, who had to improve his draft capital from transferring out to Oklahoma. But still went to North Carolina, paired up with Sam Howell, and improved his draft capital immensely there. He went from like a UDFA to a late round pick, rushed for 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3.86 yards after contact per attempt that year, 3.06 on his career. Forced 48 missed tackles at North Carolina. And then in the receiving department, that final year at North Carolina, which is where he got the most volume, 11.8 yards after the catch per reception. That's good to see because that says he's got juice in the open field, 1.25 yards per route ran. So a decent receiving back, not the greatest, doesn't have like an exceptional receiving portfolio, but you can tell from his stats that he has a little bit of juice. Fell to the 5th round. I mean, a 5-year running back on a Van Wilder schedule here, who played with 2 different collegiate programs, an older rookie at the running back position where there's not much demand for, but still fell to the 5th round, got selected by the Vikings, did good things in training camp last year. They were talking him up pretty good, and he stayed on the team through another year. He was a guy we've been talking about, a lot of people were talking about at the start of this season as a late round flyer, a guy to watch. He was on the watch list mainly because of that 4.38 speed, that speed score. He's a home run threat with the ball in his hands, right around 200 pounds, a little bit over, but usually playing weight is a little bit lighter in season. That's just how the cookie crumbles. 4.38 40-yard dash though. We got speed to burn. We can be electric. That means we could be a home run hitter. That means if this offense is turning and burning, this could be a good situation for him. Looking at the offense, though, it's been the Alex Madison show, and he started off the season cold, but he's ramped things up a little bit. Not exceptional. 3.6 yards per carry. Runs the plays well. He's there where the team needs him to be. And overall, a good grinder between the tackles. And that's really all I can say about him. He keeps the plays moving. He keeps the offense going. Good in pass protection. Ty Chandler, though, is going to be seeing some added opportunities with Cam Akers out. So he's going to be seeing some additional touches here as the spellback. But that speed could allow him to pop off a few runs. And if he does that, that could add on additional workload, which makes him a lottery ticket in fantasy. And if he does that and just increases his touches just a little bit, he could become a fantasy relevant player or a boom bust player on the back end of your bench. A player you at least need to pay attention to. We also have some prominent matchups here in the near future. Also some ugly ones too. It's kind of a mixed bag. You see the Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears back to back. You also got some ugly ones too, but still a decent schedule. We also got fragility at the quarterback position that's impacting things. We got Justin Jefferson coming back. So this team is going to be different going forward for the rest of the season. Something to pay attention to. You need him as a running back stash. He's just a stash. He's just a lottery ticket. He's got a lot of upside. He's in an offense that's very ambiguous right now. We got to watch the quarterback position, but this team likes to run a lot of plays. They like to be fast-paced. That's how they identify. They may not be with this new quarterback with Dobbs back there, but still you got to pay attention to that. But if something happens to Madison, they'll probably bring in another running back. That's almost guaranteed. But look for Ty Chandler to see more workload. He's going to see more workload regardless, but right now what we're projecting is not enough to be fantasy relevant, but he's got that home run hitting speed that if he hits, that could allow him to chip away at the workload, get a little bit more, and maybe the last few weeks of the year, you get a little bit of something out of him, especially since the Vikings are not predicted to win the Super Bowl this year. Maybe those last few games when we're in the fantasy playoffs, they allow him to get a little bit of run. They want to see what's under the hood with him, and maybe you see him get some touches, allow him to be fantasy relevant to finish out the season. You don't need him. You don't need a stash running back. You just don't need it. You don't need to carry him. He's probably going to be dead weight for a bit. That's probably the thing about this, and he's a wait-and-see player. So really, he can sit on waivers, and you can wait. But if he has that long run, if he has a big play, if he splashes in a game, everyone's going to run to the waivers for him. The reason why is because the waiver wire has not been great this year at the running back position. It just has not been. These last few weeks, it's just been the same guys. Some of them has had some decent weeks. We had Deontay Foreman have a good game here and there. But still, the waiver wire has not been great this year for the running back position. And we're going to see guys who just randomly pop up, have good games, get opportunities, and they're going to be overpriced on the waiver wire. So these upside players that we're looking at really are more valuable than usual because of the economics of the waiver wire, considering it's been dry these last few weeks, considering everybody's been hot for Keaton Mitchell, trying to get him because of that. And now we're looking at the next guy up that could possibly do that. This is another guy that could do that. This is another guy that could go off if he gets more workload, gets some opportunities. If he's getting 10 touches a game here, something like that, there's a chance he can pop one off. But he's just a player to look at right now. Let me know what you think about Ty Chandler in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.